Good. So this is a story that dates back to 2019, so about 6 years ago. So it's just a normal Tuesday afternoon. I was working for a particular organization that had offices around Riverside Drive 21. And so at that particular time, we were piloting an ambitious youth empowerment program. And so what was happening was that we were doing, several trainings, universities, and we had a training at the University of Nairobi. So there's a cohort that we were basically training at the University of Nairobi. And it was a training that had started the previous year, that was 2018, I think around October or thereabout. And so, it was like a 3 months kind of training. And so I remember January, actually 4 months training. And so, January was the penultimate month. So no more. I'm here, I'm leading the team. And so preparing, packing stuff as usual. The training was happening at the University of Nairobi, the main campus. And so that afternoon, preparing the team, the facilitators here and there, materials. And now we were about to move from Riverside Drive 44, actually, not 21, Riverside Drive 44. That's where the offices were located. So, and this was slightly past 3 p.m. And so just as we were about to leave, because the training usually was starting around 4-ish there. So we needed to leave early enough, get to the venue, prepare as usual, sort a few things here and there, and then, be able to kick off the training. So that particular day, Tuesday, January 15th, 2019, as we were about to leave, we had gunshots, like blast gunshots, and all of a sudden we were wondering, okay, now what is happening? So initially we thought, because the organization officers were actually near Office Park. So initially we thought that possibly and of course there are also banks along that line. So initially we thought that possibly there could be like maybe some kind of robbery or something like that. And so we said, well, let's first of all hold, because the route that we're using was actually, from our offices, go down past the junction and then go through Chiromo and then, be able to get to University of Nairobi. So we decided, fine, let's hold a bit and just be able to understand what is happening. So a few minutes later, I think still gunshots, more and more gunshots, confused, not knowing what is happening. At around 3:30 or thereabout, now we see, things on social media and also things on Citizen TV, I think. So apparently there had been an attack at Dusit D2 Hotel. For those that may not know, this is an attack that actually happened that day, January 15th, 2019, where militias believed to be Al-Shabaab. I understand later on they claimed responsibility for that, attacked the hotel. And why? The reason I think that I'd given is because of the US presence in Somali, as well as the Kenyans, KDF operation that was happening in Somali. So I cannot remember how many armed gunmen were, but what happened is that they attacked. First of all, there was an explosion at the entrance of Dusit D2, and then that was followed by a suicide bomber who, blew himself up at the hotel parking. And then, of course, now followed by, armed men just shooting indiscriminately. End of the day, I think we had 21 lives lost, unfortunately. We had about 28 people seriously injured, and we had around 700 who had been rescued. So that's really what happened. Now, let me take you back. So we are then seeing, news on Citizen TV, basically all national media houses and several other media houses. And so what is running is that there has been a terror attack at Dusit D2. And that was like around less than 200 or so, 200 to 300 meters from our office. And so, of course, there was a lot of panic. People wondering now what is happening, and everything that comes with that. So we are there now, seated, wondering, okay, fine. So that means then definitely we cannot be able to proceed with the training. We have to, call off the training at the University of Nairobi. So what I did as the team leader, made a few calls here and there, of course, in consultation with the management. And we decided, yeah, we need to call off the training. And so we communicated with the guys who were on the ground, and we decided, fine, yeah. So we have to postpone that particular training. Now, so we were left there. Still a lot of gunshots happening, but now we were following the proceedings on, through the TV station and through, of course, our phones, etc., etc. And so we are seeing, the DCI, the Recce squad, the different kind of, security and the different forces coming in to be able to, help actually contain and control the situation. So that went on for some time. Up to until 5 now, we have closed offices, and people have started leaving because there are those who used the alternative routes and went the opposite side. So for them, it was easy for them to be able to leave. And so for us, by that particular time, of course, I was living on this other side. Actually, I was living in Kiambu, but then at the Ruaka side. And so I had not driven to work that particular day. Fortunately, I'd gone or had taken a ride with my colleague. So we are there and we're wondering, so how do we get to go home? And so I think almost past 5, heading to around 6, the gunshots reduced, but we could see from the televisions and from the main stations that the attackers were still believed to be held up within the Dusit D2, because it was really a huge complex and a huge hotel. And so at that particular time, then we decided, fine, I think because things seem to have calmed down a bit, it is time for us to be able to now leave the offices and be able to head home before the night falls, or before darkness falls. So I remember my colleague, a female colleague, told me that, well, I mean, of course, she had panicked quite a lot and said, I take the steering and be able to drive home. So what happened is that when we left the offices and we just joined the road, we decided, well, seems like things have calmed down a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down towards actually Dusit D2, and then at the junction, of course, take the route that goes through, that connects with the Westlands or, Rafter Road. So it was clear, I mean, good plan, because again, the other side of the road was quite jammed, because a number of people opted not to go the direction of the attack, but to go opposite. So there's quite a lot of traffic jam, and we decided, well, I mean, let's just, proceed and use that road or that route. So quick fast, just get into, the road. I took a right turn, and then we moved towards Dusit D2. So as we were past SBM Bank, and as we went down now to be able to, the junction, and then, take left turn and be able to head towards Westlands, there was scuffle. So what had happened is that the attackers who were believed wanted to escape using the back route that that connected to the route that we wanted to use. So all of a sudden, again, there were sudden gunshots, and there were a lot of forces, there were a lot of security guys running towards or moving towards from the Chiromo line, coming up to the junction to be able to now take the route of Westlands and be able to barricade that route. At that particular time, we were caught in the whole thing. And then, of course, ahead of us, there were also security cars that were moving now, from Westland Road, coming down to be able to come and take the turn to Dusit D2. My colleague panicked, I panicked, and so my senses of surviving an attack kicked in. Luckily, or lucky enough, is that from the training that we were delivering, we actually had a session on safety and security, and we had been trained a bit in terms of how to be able to, drive, especially when there's an attack. So I don't know even how I switched on the lights. It was a Volkswagen, actually, Volkswagen Golf, I think. I don't know how I switched on the light, full light, and then accelerated. I tell you, we just zoomed past those particular guys. There were already gunshots that, guys had already started firing, to try and be able to, stop the guys from escaping or something like that. I tell you, it was just panic, 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 panic. But I just, accelerated and just cruised. Yeah, and it was I don't know. It quickly just connected. We didn't even remember to go and use and connect with the Rafter Road, but instead just took right turn towards Westlands and Roundabout, and then of course connected with the Wayaki Way, and at least we were out of that place. My colleague almost killed me because it was such a huge risk that we had taken. But luckily, we managed to be able to, get out of the whole melee with unscuffed. Of course, I didn't share that immediately. I got home. Yeah, but that is how close we came to, encountering and being caught up in crossfire. But luckily, of course, we escaped, unhurt. And later on, when I got home, actually, in the news, we got to see, actually, yeah, there's actually one of the guy who was believed to be escaping through that particular route, who had been, who had been cornered, and yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah, so that was so close to encountering a terror attack and coming face to face with it. But lessons learned, and good enough is that also some of these trainings that actually go through, sometimes you might think that they might not help you, but at times kicks in when needed and help. So that was my experience. A lot of lives were lost, so quite unfortunate, and yeah, we hope that such incidents will never happen again.